So Donald Trump has been very critical of the Clinton Foundation, and rightfully so. So in the past, he referred to it as a corrupt organization, and he said that there are pay-to-play deals going on, and he's absolutely correct. The problem, however, with Donald Trump's criticisms of the Clinton Foundation is that he's a hypocrite, because anything that he says about the Clinton Foundation is also true about the Trump Foundation as well. And this has been an ongoing problem with Donald Trump when it comes to his hypocrisy, because even though he's right on some issues, like the TPP, he rails against these types of free trade agreements that ship our jobs overseas, yet as a businessman, he's taken advantage of them, and he has his ties manufactured in Mexico, for example. So Trump's hypocrisy knows no bounds, and this story definitely proves it, because the corruption and the level of corruption that's taking place within the Trump Foundation is equivalent to the Clinton Foundation.
I see that your campaign just sent out a statement a few minutes ago regarding this, and you're right. It is now clear the Clinton Foundation is the most corrupt enterprise in political history. You know, there are a lot of people who are not up to speed on what the Clinton Foundation's been doing that you feel is illegal.
Well, I think it's been really well documented in the book, and the book has been absolutely approved by so many people. You've had accounting firms going in there. You've had so many people going in, and it's pay for play. I mean, if you look at it, it's pay for play. So many things happen. Money is paid, and then all of a sudden, lots of good things paying the money. Very, very bad situation.
So not only has he lied about the sizes of contributions given to other charities, for example, he claims that his Comedy Central roast raised $1 million for charity when it actually raised $400,000, and he also didn't report certain donations and purchases he made from the foundation to the IRS. Washington Post explains Donald Trump spent more than $250,000 from his charitable foundation to settle lawsuits that involved the billionaire's for-profit businesses, according to interviews and a review of legal documents. In one case, from 2007, Trump's Mar-a-Lago club faced $120,000 in unpaid fines from the town of Palm Beach, Florida, resulting from a dispute over the size of a flagpole. In a settlement, Palm Beach agreed to waive those fines if Trump's club made a $100,000 donation to a specific charity for veterans. Instead, Trump sent a check from the Donald J. Trump Foundation, a charity funded almost entirely by other people's money, according to tax records. So think about what he's doing here. He's using a supposedly charitable organization to pay his legal fees. What did he call the Clinton Foundation again? He called it corrupt, and he's right, but there's a word for what he's doing here. If you use a supposedly charitable organization to pay for your legal fees, that's called corruption. Now, again, he talked about the pay-to-play problem that the Clinton Foundation has with the Clinton State Department. So Vanity Fair explains the purported charity gave a $25,000 political contribution to Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi in 2013, just as the politician was deciding whether to investigate Trump University for alleged fraud. The donation was a violation of tax laws for which Trump paid a $2,500 penalty, but questions about the donation have lingered. In one instance, Trump reportedly spent $20,000 of the charity's money on a 6-foot-tall portrait of himself, and another $12,000 on a football helmet autographed by the then quarterback for the Denver Broncos, Tim Tebow. So Donald Trump is proven that even though Hillary Clinton may be very corrupt, he's just as entrenched as Hillary Clinton, albeit in different ways. So when he's in trouble, he buys people, he pays them off. And look, he's spoken about this before too, but I mean, if you're going to be buying off people who would be potentially investigating you, that's incredibly corrupt. That's pay to play right there, because he's paying so public officials do certain favors for him. Now, he contends that he's going to be different from these people, but he's shown that he's going to be bought off as well. He may not be taking as much money from big donors as Hillary Clinton, but he's still taking money from Wall Street, holding private meetings with defense contractors, and is being bankrolled by billionaires like Sheldon Adelson. So Donald Trump is very, very corrupt. The Trump Foundation is very corrupt. Bigly.
Bigly.
Now, because of this evidence, New York's Attorney General Eric Schneiderman has launched an investigation into the Trump Foundation, as they very well should. Now, what's frustrating is that even if the Trump Foundation is as equally corrupt as the Clinton Foundation, well, the Clinton Foundation isn't being investigated because the FBI tried to investigate the Clinton Foundation, but the DOJ blocked them from doing that. So that is unfair and that is a double standard. But one thing that you cannot deny is that Donald Trump is just as corrupt as he says the Clinton Foundation is. And when asked about this corruption, his VP, Mike Pence, had no idea what to do to defend him. Take a look.
Trump used $258,000 from his charity to settle legal problems. What is your reaction to that story?
Well, I think what we found is that there's a number of factual errors in that story, as there were in previous stories about the Trump Foundation. I'm confident they'll be able to address those and demonstrate that they fully complied with the law. I think the larger issue here, of course, is the Clinton Foundation. Even this week, former President Bill Clinton confirmed on another network that he expected that large foreign donors to the Clinton Foundation were contributing perhaps in part to gain access, but he just wasn't worried about the State Department doing anything wrong, I think was his phrase. You know, I think with the pay-to-play politics that we see with tens of millions of dollars flowing into the Clinton Foundation from foreign governments, foreign donors, while she was Secretary of State, I think really is exactly the kind of politics the American people are tired of. And it's one of the reasons why I truly do believe our campaign is experiencing the kind of momentum that we are here in Virginia and really all over the country as we drive toward Election Day on November 8th.
To back up right quick here for just a minute, do you know what the factual errors are that the campaign is alleging in the Washington Post story?
Well, I think the foundation will be able to lay those out. There were errors in the previous Washington Post stories. And, you know, look, you know me a while, Brian. I strongly support a free and independent press. People are entitled to ask questions. And I'm sure the Trump Foundation and the Trump family will continue to be able to answer those.
Now, I absolutely love that, because what does Hillary Clinton say when she's questioned about the speeches that she's given to Wall Street? Oh, well, look at the Republicans. You may be frustrated with me, but I mean, look how bad the Republicans are. And that's what Mike Pence is doing right here. So it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on, you're going to use the same tactics if you're corrupt to try to evade criticism, but it's not going to work.
The larger issue here, of course, is the Clinton Foundation. Even this week, former President Bill Clinton confirmed on another network.
Now, there is an area where I will be defending Donald Trump, even though I don't want to because I can't stand the guy, but facts are facts. So as part of all this controversy surrounding the Trump Foundation that's come to fruition as of late, the Washington Post, who has basically spearheaded this investigation into the Trump Foundation, they're alleging, as well as some other outlets, that Donald Trump has made contributions to certain organizations, and these organizations are saying, we have no record of that. But that's actually not entirely correct. So one AIDS group, for example, initially said that they had no record of his donation, but they actually rechecked, and they did find that the donation was, in fact, accounted for. And this is something that we do have to consider. So even though the media does really want to demonize Donald Trump, we still have to be objective and make sure that we scrutinize the media outlets who have an interest in demonizing Trump and getting Clinton elected. But look, there's something that we can't question here that's not debatable. Is Donald Trump corrupt? Is the Trump Foundation corrupt? Absolutely.
Big league.
One of these two corrupt individuals, either Clinton or Trump, will win. Both of them have corrupt charitable organizations, regardless of the work they do, regardless of the charitable donations they've made. They're both corrupt. Both of their foundations are corrupt, and that's a problem. We've got to hold them both to the same standard. Investigate the Trump Foundation, absolutely, but also investigate the Clinton Foundation. Call the Clinton Foundation corrupt, but also call the Trump Foundation corrupt as well, because they're both basically equal in my eyes.